Good afternoon, everybody. This is Randy Baxter. I'm the president of Asset Positioning Services and provider of the Family Estate Docs estate planning software. And I've written a couple of books, Approach Plan Succeed, and the other one's Family Tree Asset Positioning, the go-to first interview. But thinking about today being Good Friday, and normally when we have 8, 10, 12, 15 people in this entry level, I kind of thought that the crowd would sort of be small today. So I thought maybe, just maybe, the few people that showed up would maybe like to have some one-on-one conversations with me or some questions with me. And I thought maybe that might be a real good idea. When I see, is that you, Tony Sheets?
And
Okay,
Felicia.
and Felicia's here. Okay, and Annie, I have not met you before. Can you hear me?
I can hear you. Yes. How are
Well,
you?
good. Well, I'm spoiled rotten.
That's
I am.
great. That's great.
Uh,
That's
so
just
so
new to this.
well, Annie, where are you from?
So I work out of Miami, but I work actually out of the Sunrise office in Broward County.
Okay, and
Mhm.
how did you learn about us?
So I went through what's their name? The advertising IAM
Okay,
with Randy. Well, actually not Randy. What is his name? Carter
okay.
and
Carter
Justin.
Nelson.
Yes. Yes, and
Carter
Justin.
Nelson. Cool.
Eh,
Okay.
Yes. Yes.
I've
So
known
they
Carter for
referred
about, I
me.
guess, 20 years.
Oh,
And
okay.
he was with Aflac
Oh,
for
okay.
many, many years.
Gotcha. Right. So I
Okay.
went
All
through,
right.
yes. So they just introduced me to this and said, hey, this might be something that you might benefit from. So get on in there. I said, okay, let's go
Okay.
ahead and do it. Yes.
All right. Well,
Yes. So I
okay.
went
All
through,
right.
yes. So they just
I'm thinking, like I said, it's going to be a small crowd, so I'm going to ask questions, and I'm going to pretend like you
beautiful.
guys are a panel. So we have,
Hmm.
is that pronounced right, Annie, or did I pronounce
Annie. Yep,
A-N-I?
Annie. That's correct.
Okay.
Annie.
Good chardo.
Yes.
Do you roll your R's?
Yes. If you want to,
Okay.
absolutely.
Okay. Good chardo. Okay. And
Correct.
Tony Sheets, you're here, right?
Tony, you can
Tony?
unmute.
I've just asked him to unmute.
Okay, everybody can unmute today. It's a small crowd.
Hello.
Let's talk.
Hello. Yes, Tony is here.
Hey, Tony, has soccer season started?
Oh, it's big time. I've done 7 games this week. 2 last
Oh
night.
my
Two
gosh.
two varsity games last night, and actually the best game of the season so far. Super
Well,
competitive.
good. And Felicia, how are you doing today?
Very good. Thank you for asking, Randall. How about yourself?
Well, I'm good. I just wanted to talk to everybody. And then we have Joseph Cates from Alabama. How you doing, Joe? Joe hasn't unmuted yet.
No, I just sent a
asked him
text
to
to
unmute.
everybody to unmute.
Okay. All right. So anyway, like I said, I knew the crowd was going to be small today, and I thought, well, what a great time to answer individual questions about our process. And let me tell you just real quick. I have my own little team here in Knoxville that I train, and this month we've sold 6 estate plans, and we've written about $1.3 million in annuities and about $3,000 in life insurance premium. And something that's really grabbed a hold of me here lately. I think we're probably going to have about $5,000 or $6,000 in charges for quitclaim deeds. So and I'm just talking off the top of the head because I want you to be able to ask some questions. But every one of those things are based on our process. And if we go in and look at $1.3 million at a net, and I'm just going to be conservative and say average commission 5%. That's about $65,000. 6 trusts at $1,200 a shot. That's $7,200. And oodles of quitclaim deeds, grossing about $5,000 or $6,000 probably. So if you've heard anything so far that you're interested in and want to ask questions about, feel free to raise your hand so we can address your issues. But I just want to start with what I see here and it's a good crowd. Tony, you've been with us a while. You've heard my spiel and you know the story. And Felicia, you've been with us a couple months and you're just getting started. And Joseph, you're brand new. You haven't been here quite a month yet, I don't think. And then Annie, you've been here what, 2 weeks?
Yeah, like about 2 weeks.
Okay. And this is our entry level meeting, but you know we always have our Tuesday meeting at 3 p.m. And that's where I sort of break things down by topic, and I try to go in depth into marketing and sales and product and usually just whatever's going on that I'm getting a lot of questions on. The next week I try to have a class and break those things down for everybody, and then we record them and we put them on randallbaxter.com. And for those that are listening don't know yet, randallbaxter.com has its all of my licensees have their own little corner that they can go to, and it's called FTAP training. And FTAP means Family Tree Asset Positioning. FTAP training. When you click on it, it's going to ask you for the password, and that password is FTAP, and those are all capital letters, no space, and then the next word is all lowercase. So it's FTAP courses, COURSES. And each week on Tuesday, we put that class up. Lisa, how long does it take you to do that? About 2 days or 1 day or?
It depends on SlamDot,
Okay.
where we are
Okay.
with them. Yeah.
All right. Okay. So and Lisa's in South Africa. So so we're spread all over the world, folks.
Yes.
And I'm sorry to hear about that bus crash in South Africa yesterday.
Oh, yes, it was terrible.
That was sad, wasn't it?
Yes.
But anyway, when I teach and when I try to show people what I do, it's important for me for you all to understand that I only teach what I know and I only teach what I do. And I don't ask you to do anything that we don't try and that we don't run a lab on. And when things work, they work. And if things don't work, well, gosh, we've got some more people showed up. Good. If things don't work, I usually tell you. So if you're an entry-level person, I just hope you've read my book, Approach, Plan, Succeed. Because if you read it, you're going to learn about two people in that book. One's an old soldier, and the other one's a seagull. And the old soldier, I like to say that, hey, that's me. I've been around. I'll be 70 years old this summer, and I've been around a long time, and I know what works, and I know how to do it without spending a lot of marketing money. Although what I've also learned recently is that if you spend your marketing money correctly, it can be very, very profitable. And if you do it right, I promise you'll make a lot of money. My two proteges that I have in Knoxville, we did a workshop this in February, and in March we've done about $400,000, almost $500,000. Let's see, to 400, yeah, almost $500,000 in annuities and 6 different estate plans. Okay, so if you were doing one at 5% or 6%, you would have spent about $4,000. You would have made about $35,000. And Felicia, I think you expressed a little concern about could you do it in front of a crowd, and the answer is all you have to do is the exact same presentation that I teach 1-to-1. It just apply that to what I call 1-to-many. And at the end of it, people will walk up to you and say, I need to talk to you as soon as I can, because you're going to expose so many different things that they know that they need to take care of, that they came to the workshop because it was on the back of their mind, and they were aware that they had a problem, but they just didn't know how to go about on a solution. So just to be honest with you, that's what we teach here at Asset Positioning Services. And I didn't just name that company just because it was a cool name. I named it because that's what we do. Asset positioning services. And sometimes we're helping grandma and grandpa get their come out of the market, which I call the accumulation phase. And if they come out of the accumulation phase, we put them into the next phase, which I call the preservation phase. And then after the preservation phase comes the worst one, and that's the distribution phase. And each one of those phases, if you're dealing with people that have any assets at all, you're going to get to move and sell that money 3 or 4 times. You're going to get to move it out of the market and into safer, sure things. That's one. You're going to get to distribute it with death claims. That's 2. And you're going to get to reposition those assets again when you hand assets down to the next generation. And a lot of times that next generation, they're still in the accumulation phase. So that money will go from sure things back into maybes a lot of the times. So and all you have to do as a new person, entry level person, is keep track of it. And the best way to keep track of it is to do the family tree asset positioning go-to first interview and take that little scratchy drawing that looks like a 5th grader did it and put it in their file. And every time you talk to them, you pull that drawing out of that file and you look at them and say, how's little Johnny doing over there in Alabama? Or how's Mary and her new husband with their new baby doing over there in Louisiana? And they will be amazed at how much you remember or know about their family. But of course, like I said, I'm pushing 70. I don't remember everything I'm supposed to remember anymore, but I sure do remember it if I'm looking at it on a piece of paper. It's a lot easier to remember that way. But so, if you're listening to me and if you ask yourself, why am I here today? I hope you're here because you're looking for the key or the leadership or the mentorship that can guide you to the next stage in your economic life. And I don't know what that stage is. Some of you, it's making a consistent $5,000 to $7,000 a month, which is not a bad thing to do. But some of you are looking to go from that $7,000 a month to $15,000 or $20,000 a month. And some of you are looking for what I call money days. And I call them money days because I have mentors, just like I hope you'll let me mentor you and some of the things that we do. One of my mentors said, Randy, I can't talk to you right now. I'm having a money day. And I'll go, well, what's that mean? And he said, well, this is the day I planned on closing everybody, and they're all coming to the office and they're all going to buy. And that's exactly what happened. I had a money day last Friday, which was a little over $500,000, and then the momentum from that wore off into Monday and Tuesday, and I picked up another $120,000. And so in 4 or 5 days, because I used my process, I picked up maybe $25,000 or $30,000 of income over a 4-day period. And I'm happy with that, but I accidentally wrote more than that this month. But just want you to know that if you'll read the book and learn what that old soldier does, and in the book, that old soldier's a World War I soldier, and he's been in a ditch and he's dirty, and he doesn't wear his equipment the way everybody else wears it, and he doesn't do everything the way they train him in boot camp or in beginning times. And he's been there a long time, and he knows what works, and he knows how to stay safe. Just want you to know that if you'll read the book, and the other character in my book is a seagull. Matter of fact, his name is Jonathan Livingston Seagull, and he's got a whole book. I think Richard Beck wrote it, but he talks about the seagull that and I'm just paraphrasing here, but the seagull that's fighting over French fries. with other seagulls. And that's sort of like new agents fighting over the same prospects all the time, and the reward is not very big. But one day, Jonathan looks up in the sky and sees another seagull flying about a mile high. And he goes, why is he up there flying around while we're down here getting honked at in the parking lot at McDonald's? So he decided to go up there and ask that other seagull. And he took off flying, working and flying. And he got about halfway up there and he realized that his muscles weren't strong enough. His wings weren't strong enough. And he didn't know, he couldn't fly that high because he didn't know how. So he came crashing to the ground. The next day he got up and he said, he looked up there and that seagull was still up there. So he tried it again. He got a little closer, but he still wasn't strong enough to get all the way up there. It took him about a week. And about a week later, he finally made it up there to where that other seagull was. And he said, how do you stay up here? And why are you up here flying around? And that seagull looked at him and said, well, I'm up here because I'm trying to figure out how to go talk to that seagull up there. And there was another one about 2 miles up in the sky. And so Jonathan looks at that seagull and he said, well, I have a lot of respect for you, but I want to talk to that seagull up there. So he said, well, follow me and we'll see how close we can get. So, but inside that book, the moral of the story is some people who are successful in this business will not give you the time of day. And other people in this business will go out of their way to show you and teach you what they know. And there's a benefit there. Sometimes people, if I show people what I know, sometimes they bring cases in that they're not sure about, and they ask me to help them. And I I'm not so bold that I don't say, okay, let's split this case and let's go get it, and I'll teach you what to do. So I just wanted to take the opportunity today to let you guys ask some questions if you wanted to. So I'm going to pose the first question to you, and you can answer it if you want to. But if it sparks another question, go ahead and ask it. But my first question is: are you having a problem identifying people who might benefit from a conversation with you about their current estate plan? Has anybody got any remarks about that? Huh.
No, I believe everyone needs to have something in place. You just have to. They probably just don't know it, or they probably haven't been educated on it, or haven't had the time to start looking into the benefits of having their estate, planned out and trust or will. So yes, I just started, but I don't think that should be an issue though.
Well, and it's not an issue because everybody has a plan, whether they know it or not. And the ones who don't have a formal written personal plan have got one written by the state they live in. It's called probate court. And most people don't like that once they hear what the rules are. And in Tennessee, it's like a spoke on a bicycle wheel, and they go out in one generation in all directions if you don't have a will. And they want to split the assets with your mom and your dad and your brothers and your sisters and your brother and your children. What you want to do is talk to people about making sure that they have a plan that directs those distribution assets in the direction that they want to go. But there's something else that benefits them in this conversation, and that's they're all looking for someone who can lead them through that process in a way that's entertaining, in a way that's easy to understand. And when you draw their family tree, and if you explain the estate planning process in reverse and get that person in the hospital tonight at 6 p.m. in a coma on a table, talking to a doctor that they never met who doesn't think they're going to survive through the night, makes you wonder, if that was you, would you have all your paperwork in order? At least I want to ask you a question, and I know it's sad about those people in that bus, but I'd say there's
Yes.
probably some people in that bus that didn't have their estate plans in order.
Yes.
And here in America, we had that crash of that big old ship and those 6 people that were on that bridge working. It makes me wonder, was everything that they wanted to have happen, was it written down? Did they have it in order? Or if they were just injured and not killed, had anyone helped them pick the people that they wanted to represent them? And if you do it that way, people bond with you. If you spend that first 30 minutes using the family tree asset positioning go-to first interview, those people would bond with you in most cases. And if they're not calling you by your first name in the first 25 or 30 minutes, and if they're not looking at each other and talking about the things that you're asking them to talk about, then you're probably not following the script the way I wrote it. And you don't have to memorize it. People think that, hey, I got a script, I got to memorize a script. You don't have to memorize the script. All you have to do is follow the agenda that I wrote for you, an outline to follow, that you give your prospect a copy of the agenda, and you keep a copy of the agenda in front of you, and you just follow the agenda. The end result, the last person I talked to, one of my estate plan people, last person I talked to, they bought an estate plan for 1995. He had a son. He and she had a son born to the marriage, and she had a daughter that she brought to the marriage. And that affects their decisions. And each one of those children, the son that they had together had one child, and the daughter that she brought to the marriage was married and had 2 children. And the closest one lived about 700 miles away. So those are the things that you learn. And you know what else we found out when we went down on page 3 of the confidential? We found out that their assets were about $4 million. And that they were living on their Social Security, worried about money. So and when we go in to show them on the back end, because we use the power phrases, and I don't know if you all have any questions on the power phrases, but the most powerful power phrase, the one I like the most, is, hey, I'm a firm believer that your current health situation is a primary factor in your investment decisions. Would you agree? And for those of you who are new and you're taking the 30-day training, I call it advanced training spoon fed. If you're taking that training, that's day 21, 22, 23, and 24. So it takes me 3 weeks to get you prepped. But if you want to, you can take the fast track training, which is the exact same training. Instead of getting one email every day for 30 days, you get one book called Family Tree Asset Positioning, the go-to first interview. You can get it on Saturday. By Saturday afternoon, you can, Saturday afternoon and maybe 4 or 5 cups of coffee, and maybe a sandwich, you'll be ready to roll. And then all you have to do is get out there and try it a couple of times. So in the meantime, Greg and I teach a process called the cycle of success. And that's what we teach. So when you have your IIDs, which are called individual instructions and drills, this is a GID, which is a group instruction and drill. But in your IID, if you want it, we're going to ask you, hey, do you have 10 people that you think would benefit from a conversation with you about their current estate plan? Now, listen to what I said. A conversation with you about their current, not the one you want them to buy, their current estate plan, the one they have right now. And Annie, you're new, and I told you a minute ago, everybody has an estate plan, even if they don't have a will or a trust, and it's called probate court. So if you and a lot of people are walking around unaware of that. And the first thing you want to do, and it doesn't matter how good a salesperson you are, it doesn't matter how much product knowledge you have. First thing you want to do is take an unaware person and make them aware of a problem that they have, that they've always been meaning to take care of. And they just haven't done it yet. They haven't got around to it. They haven't, no one's tried to lead them through it. And you know, you're sitting in, and Kim, I was sitting there thinking about you. I was looking at your picture here. All you have to do is be the person that took the time to introduce them to a problem they knew they had, but they just weren't given it the time of day. And you don't know if those 10 people are super wealthy or middle class or poor. You don't know. But if you approach 10 people and they're all poor, I'm going to teach you how to approach different people. But to do that, we have to get you in the cycle of success, and we have to get you identifying your suspects, which are people that you think would benefit from a conversation with you about their current estate plan. You got a question, Annie?
No, sir, no, sir.
Okay. So, and I used the analogy the other day. You have to sort of pretend like that suspect, that person who might benefit from a conversation with you about their current estate plan, that they're on the other side of a river and you're on the east side and they're on the west side, and you got to do something that gets them to want to cross that river. Come over here and talk to me. So that's why I say, if you know, when I wrote the book Approach, Plan, Succeed, I spent a lot of time trying to teach you how to approach people in a way that makes them feel comfortable and in a way that makes them not think you're just trying to sell them a product. So let me ask you a question. How would you rather be approached? Hey, I'm selling life insurance and I'd like to make an appointment with you. Or I'm selling Medicare and I'd like to make an appointment with you. Or, you know, I think you might benefit from a conversation with me about your current estate plan. Because, see, I sell a lot of product. Matter of fact, if I had to measure it, I'd say I sell oodles of product. But I never go into a conversation to get people to talk product. I get them to talk to me about their current estate plan and what they would do to make it better. And that might be making sure their real estate doesn't get tied up in probate court. That might be making sure that they've had a conversation about their plans for those days when they're going to be sick and old, and how they're going to pay for and fund that point in their lives. I'm even going to talk to them about their income that's not tied to assets when they retire, and their income that's tied to assets when they retire. And most of the time, people have never been approached on that level with that technique. And then when I talk to them about their long-term care needs and their income needs and their fear of running out of money, that's when I'm going to say, by the way, I think your current health situation is a primary factor in your investment decisions. Would you agree? And when they say yes, and they will, then what I say, and I put it in the script, and it's on the confidential, and it's in the agenda. I need to ask you a couple of questions about your current health situation. You don't have to answer them if you don't want to, but it would help me be a better advisor if I just understood what's going on. Would that be okay? And they'll say, yeah. And folks, if you look at that confidential of mine, I pieced it together. It took me about 10 years to finish it up, to do it right. But all I did was took some scissors and cut out the knockout questions on a simplified underwriting life insurance application and stuck it in my data collection form. It looks like it was born there, but it wasn't. It's on every simplified issue life insurance application. It asks these questions. Have you ever had a cancer, or have you ever had Parkinson's disease, or you had a stroke or a heart attack, or AIDS, or kidney problems or you're being treated by a doctor for any other reason. And people will tell you that. But you know what? Y'all been listening to me for 30 minutes now, and I haven't talked product with you, have I? But I've shown you how to deep dive into people's lives in a way that they will respond to you and talk to you so that you can talk product later, but not yet, because you don't know what they already own. And that's the next thing you have to do. And if you learn anything from me today, you might say, hey, I think you don't have to give me the full numbers. I just need ballparks, but I'd like to just get a general idea of where you're structured in your assets. Will that be okay? And they'll say, yeah. And then I'm going to say, well, about how much money do you need each month to pay your bills? And then most of the time they'll look at me and they'll go, well, about 10,000. I'll write 10,000 down. And I go, do you have any money market? Sometimes people say no, and some people say yes, 700,000. Sometimes they don't say that. Sometimes they say 3 million. Sometimes they say, oh, about 300,000 or 400,000. And I go, well, do you own any annuities? And sometimes they'll go, are you trying to sell me an annuity? And I go, no, but and they'll say, oh, I hate annuities. And I'll go, well, me too. I don't like them either unless they work. But that's not the issue today. And you want to have that conversation because now I've just disarmed them. But if they own an annuity, it might not be the right kind of annuity. And I promise you this. Now, if you're sitting there by your computer, get a little closer and get your best ear up to the speaker. Most people have no idea how the annuity that they own works. And some are accumulating annuities, and some are income annuities, and some cash out when you die and don't give the family anything. Some of them give the cash back to the family. Some are qualified, some are non-qualified. And you know, they can tell you what you got, but you don't try to sell them one right then. You just say, great, and you write it down, move on. And then I'll ask the next question. Can you tell me a little bit about your current life insurance? And they'll go, yeah, I've got I forget what it's called, the LUI or something like that. And I think it's got some cash value in it. And I've had it for many, many years. And I don't know how it works, but I pay it every month. A couple weeks ago in Crossville, Tennessee, I had a lady tell me, yeah, we bought some life insurance when the kids were born and we've had it for 32 years. And I said, have you looked at it or changed it? And they said, no. Do you have any idea how it is or what it does? And they went, well, sort of. And our next appointment with them is to review those life contracts. And I call it finding their true purpose for money. And I think we'll probably rearrange, or we'll do asset positioning on their life insurance a little bit more than likely, because after they tell me what they had, I'm sure it from what I know about them, it doesn't fit what their goals are anymore. Their kids are 30-something years old. So you ask them about their life insurance, you ask them about their IRAs and their 401ks and everything like that. And now listen to me, because what I'm about to tell you is going to make you a lot of money if you let it. It's going to make you a lot of money if you let it. And here's what you want to say. You want to say, Mr. Prospect, you've done a pretty good job with your assets. Don't you think you ought to have the proper paperwork to take care of that for that day when you might need it? And then once you say that, just shut up and hush and wait, because they'll say yes. And most of the time, mom and dad will look at each other, and one of them will nod, and you'll know you just made a sale. And all you got to say after that is, all we got to do is get your credit card out and let's get this thing rolling. They'll reach in their wallet, they'll hand you their credit card, and you charge it $19.95, and you're selling a product that, and where a lot of you don't a lot of you let yourself down on what I'm about to say. You don't understand what the product is that we're asking you to sell. It's an estate plan that we sell that is a license that you buy, in your situation that you sell, that allows you to make changes in your own estate plan for the rest of your life without any additional legal fees anytime you need to or want to, because you own the login and the password. And sometimes I see people that sell it for $7.95, for $8.95, and I'll ask them, like, why'd you do that? And they'll go, well, I just wanted to buy it. And I said, well, they're always going to think that's all it's worth. And you're not going to make any money, because if you sell it for $200 or $300 above what it costs you to get, and you service it and take care of it, you just lost your money. So, or lost somebody's money. But anyway, all I want to say to you right now is, if that's why you're here, or I hope that is why you're here. I hope that you want to learn what we have to offer. And what we have to offer is beginner training, advanced training spoon-fed, fast track training, updated website every week at randallbaxter.com, talking about the topics that estate planners and life insurance agents and health insurance agents and Medicare people and stockbrokers and people who do assets under management and lawyers and real estate agents and sometimes just mom and pops looking to make a little extra money. They deal with that every day, and you see it every day, and you walk by it every day. And sometimes you maybe wish that you had already talked to those people. I'm sure that the estate planners that knew the people that are on that bus in South Africa, or those bridge workers who were on that bridge in Baltimore, wish that they had taken the time to tell some of those people, I think you might benefit from a conversation with me about your current estate plan. And see, if you say it a couple of times and get used to saying it, and then all of a sudden you hear ka-ching, ka-ching, which is $1,200 coming in each time you make a sale, and then a lot of ka-ching, ka-chings when you average your back end sale commissions like $5,000 or $20,000 each time. And then you look at me and you go, Randy, that was fun. And you know what? I helped a lot of people, and they understood what we were doing. And I think we set the course for that family for generations to come. And I'll go, that's right. And those generations are going to buy from you, because that's the back end sale. And there's something more important than the back end sale. It's the future sale. And the future sales are usually bigger. My future sales usually come in the hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of thousands of dollars, because most of the time it's a death claim, and all assets have to be gathered and repositioned by asset positioning services. But see, once you learn to do it once or twice, you know what I'm going to try to teach you to do after that? I'm going to teach you to build momentum. Because if I can get you to build momentum, then your income is going to go up. And I'm going to give you a secret. You know how you build momentum? You repeat the first step over and over and over and over and over, and you pick up the number of times you do it, and you pick up the velocity of the number of times you do it, and eventually you start paying people to do the same thing. You want me to tell you what it is? It's the sentence, I think you would benefit from a conversation with me about your current estate plan. And you know, what if they balk? What if they say, oh, well, why would I benefit talking to you? And here's what you say. And see, See, I can teach you every comeback that you need, and you only need one. And your comeback is because people I talk to usually learn something in which they were not aware. How can they not make an appointment with somebody that can handle their objection that quickly? So, my mission for you people that are just here with us a couple of weeks, Joe, Annie, a couple of people here I don't know iPad or phone too, but I'm glad you're here. I want to teach you how to make your first sale. I'm not worried about what your income is. I just want to teach you how to make your first sale. Because once I get you to make that first sale, then I can look at you and go, well, now let's go back and see what we did right, and let's increase the number of times we do what we did that was right. And what that might be is you might say, to be honest with you, I work really well with parents with autistic children. Or you might say, you know what, I work really well with people who are about to retire. Or you might say, hey, I work really, really well with May, December romances, or same-sex couples, or I don't care what the family diagram says. I work real well with anybody who thinks that they might benefit from a conversation with me about the current estate plan. It doesn't matter to me what kind of diagram I get. So, Forrest Gump's one of my heroes. And that's why I always like to say, well, that's all I got to say about that. So here's what I want you to know is you can always ask Greg a question. You can always ask Jay a question. If Lisa's on here, you can ask Lisa a question. You can always ask me a question. Our company is built for mentorship. All right. And it's built to answer questions that we know you're going to have, especially on an entry level. Then once you start getting into product, we start introducing you to the people that can help you get the products that you need. If you want that, you don't have to use our products. We don't force you to use our products. We'll show you what products work, and we'll introduce you to the people that can supply those products to you if you want us to. So anyway, does anybody have any questions about that? It's Good Friday afternoon. I mean, if there's something on your mind, now's a great time to talk. We got a small crowd. Let's talk about it. Are there any questions out there? Am I that good that you don't have any questions after I go through all that rigmarole?
Nothing in the chat, Randall.
I'm sorry, Randall, and
That's
pardon
okay.
because since I'm new, I just want to make sure I get this right. So I already have about 4 appointments this week. The first one is on
Okay.
Tuesday.
Okay.
And I know you talked about a script. I mean, I have something that was sent to me and a book that you spoke about that if we read it this weekend, we might be able to, might be a little bit easier.
Okay.
Is there a location where we're going on the site to find all this? Because I do have an estate planning training manual.
Okay.
Would
Okay.
that be the
And
first place for me to start? Mhm.
if I were you, I would go to, and Greg, maybe you know this, go to randallbaxter.com and go to FTAP training with the password FTAP courses. And when you click on that, you're going to get this big long table of contents that is itemized by topic.
Gotcha.
And if you Annie, are you monthly or annual?
Monthly.
Okay, so Greg, Annie
Yeah.
attended on Good Friday. I want you to see to it that she gets a copy of Fast Track Training for free.
Fast track. Okay, Annie, I need your email address.
Perfect.
Okay, and y'all can communicate that, but in the Fast Track Training, Annie, the question you asked is covered in chapters 21, 22, 23, and 24.
Beautiful.
Okay. Now, each one of those chapters has a video on the FTAP training.
Got it.
And one's the agenda. Remember I told you about the agenda a few minutes ago? And then the other one is the confidential data collection form that I mentioned to you. The other one is the actual sales presentation that I use. And then the other one is the PowerPoint. I mean, not the PowerPoint, the power phrases. And I'm really good at those power phrases. And when I use them, I'm usually trying to change the mindset or create the mindset of the client that I'm talking to.
Right.
Annie,
Yes.
if you'll send me your email at Greg
Oh,
Davis.
never, that's, I just sent it in the chat. That's fine. I just
Oh,
sent it
there it
to
is.
you in
No,
the chat.
great,
Okay.
great.
Okay.
I'll get you the agenda, the
Mhm.
confidentials, and the fast track training.
Perfect.
Matter of fact, if there's anybody that spent Good Friday afternoon with us today that does not have the fast track training, Greg, if they'll just send you an email, feel free. We sell that for $99.95.
Yeah.
But it has to be worth. That's your Easter egg today.
Nice.
Okay, so if you want it, send Greg an email and tell him you want it. Any other questions, Annie, or anybody else? Kim, Joe, Felicia, iPad. Who are you, iPad?
P-I-E-G.
You keep showing up every week, and I'm just wondering, who are you?
Well, I know
DP.
I've
iPhone is
asked
kidding.
iPhone to an iPad to unmute.
Yeah, okay, that's okay.
Oh, it's Kendall. Kendall is the phone. I'm the iPhone.
Hey, Kendall, how you doing, sir?
I'm doing good, sir. How you doing?
I'm spoiled rotten.
Oh.
Okay, well, listen, I'm going to answer questions. Tony, are you still here?
Yes, he's still on the call.
I am
Okay,
still
well,
here. In fact, I was logging back into the FATP training and I was getting 404 forbidden. And but I figured it out. Your website doesn't like the I use an IP masking program, so that and apparently your software doesn't like that. So I turned off my stealth mode and it let me in.
Mhm.
well, okay. We'd just like to know who's coming in to visit.
Oh, that's fine. That's just I figured it out, so I'm in.
Okay. Okay. I will tell you that on April 30th, I'm going to be in Las Vegas teaching a boot camp. There will also, some of my guests are going to be Tony Rinaldi, who is an attorney who teaches a different type of trust that my first one I did $1,130,000 in annuity contracts on. And it's called a deferred sales trust for those people who are moving real estate and don't want to pay their capital gains. You will find a lot of that when you do the family estate docs. A lot of it.
Randall?
The other guest that I'm going to have is going to be Mr. Mike Bemis, who will teach you the income sale presentation, which is the biggest ticket and the highest income earner in our back end sale portfolio. I'll feed you breakfast at 7:00. Class starts at 8. It's going to be at the South Point Rodeo Hotel in Las Vegas. It's free if you sign up. So,
Actually,
put
you know,
the link in the
the link said $99.
it said $99 if you're not a licensee, but if you attended today on Good Friday, I'm going to treat you if you want
Okay,
to
well,
come.
I'm sure. Well, I'm also a licensee, so that's fine.
Yeah,
But when
I'm gonna treat you twice times nothing.
you're gonna double that discount.
That's right. That's right. But all you got to do is get there, and I'd love for you to be there, Tony. You're going to meet some pretty cool people. But anyway, and I called Greg right before this thing, and I said, Greg, can I butt in on your class today and just talk to everybody? And
Yeah, absolutely.
I just felt like it's important that people who would spend the Friday afternoon, a good Friday afternoon, trying to come to learn something, maybe
Yeah.
ought to talk to the horse. And and here's the promise I'll make to you. I will only teach you what I know, and I will only teach you what I do. And everything that I teach you will be tested and proven to work. And if you decide you want to have $100,000 in accounts receivable going into every month, and if you decide you want about 40 or 50,000 of that to get paid every month, and that you can start functioning like you have a comfortable life, and I'll be honest with you, in Christmas Eve of 2020, I had COVID and I was laying in the hospital, and the doctor told me he didn't think I would live through the night. And I was disabled when I got home for 4 months. And I had enough accounts receivable and enough cases already written that I never missed a lick in income. And I also, because I survived it, I felt like that's when I really decided that I needed to teach what I do, because there's not a lot of seagulls out there that'll share the information that they have. Most of the ones that are making a lot of money don't want to give you the time of day. So
Yeah.
you've looked up and you found somebody that'll share what we know and will teach you how to build momentum. Other than that, I've got some goldfish to feed out in my backyard and some Easter egg places to build so the kids will find them tomorrow. And I've got one of my licensees that's got an appointment at 3:30 this afternoon. You know what she said to me about 2 hours ago? She said, Randy, I've got a client whose father just died and left him $2 million. And he wants to never work again. And he wants to have $5,000 a month coming in until his mother dies and leaves him twice that much money. So immediately I said, okay, $5,000 a month is $60,000 a year, paid out at a 5% on an income rider. That totals up to $1.2 million index annuity sale to generate that income guaranteed for the rest of that young man's life, and leaves him $800,000 to put in the market if he wants to. And it doesn't matter if he loses money or not because his income is guaranteed. Isn't that cool?
Yeah.
So,
That's
so
fantastic.
you know, those are things that you will trip over. They won't be every case, but it will be. I'm going to promise you 1 out of 10, 1 out of 12. If you listen to the way I teach you how to find new suspects through our advocacy program. And it's when people will enjoy your family tree, asset positioning, go-to first interview presentation so well that they will start telling you about people that need to hear what you've got to say. All right. By golly, that's all I'm going to do. I've only got 1 more hour to work today, Greg, and I know I told you I was taking the day off. I just didn't.
Neither one of us did.
But,
That's
I know.
okay. We enjoy what we do, and that's the great thing about it, because we're helping other people, and we all have our story that we can build off of. But I hope that each of you have a blessed and wonderful Easter weekend, and I look forward to talking with you in the near future.
Okay. Anybody got any other questions?
Just a
Lisa?
question on the conference trip.
Yes.
You'd said that you'd gotten the hotel code for the night, shared by Simplicity. But
Uh-huh.
it's like looking at flights, there's nothing that gets in early in the morning on Tuesday. So if I'm able to come, it would be required coming on Monday and staying
Uh-huh.
Monday night. Can that discount be
Yeah.
all the way back till Monday night?
Yes. And if you want to attend the Simplicity meeting that's after that for 2 days, let me know. I'll get you a ticket.
Well, that's the point. I was wanting to, it's like if I'm going to do airfare, it'd be to do all 3.
Oh yeah. Yeah. And you know what? this is what Mike Stranker said to me from Simplicity. He said, Randy, what you do fits perfect with what we do. What you do leads them to the sales presentation that we teach. And I'll be honest with you, their good agents are making a lot of money. A lot of money. And
Right.
their agents that weren't making a lot of money yet, the reason they weren't making a lot of money yet is because they didn't know how to get themselves into that position for that presentation. The estate planning presentation requires that you do an income review. And if you want to make a lot of money, it requires that you do that interview well.
Right.
Let us teach you how to do that. We'll teach you how to hunt, and we'll teach you how to close the case.
No, that was the thing. You know, it's like you had to have had a sale with them, and it's like I've got a potential sale that's not yet closed, but I haven't closed anything through Simplicity yet. So,
Well, if they see me reach over and pat you on the shoulder and say, "Let this man in," I bet they will.
it's cool. All right.
All right. Okay, everybody. Happy Easter. I'm going to get out of here. Take care.
Bye-bye.
Great. Take care. Happy Easter. Bye.
All right. Bye.
Happy Easter.